Hey guys, welcome to Talking Vintage Baseball Cards. I'm Tasso, and today I'm going to tell you about my story and what this channel's future is going to be. So I ended up making this channel a couple days ago because I want to really create a community of people that are into vintage baseball cards. So right now, I'm actually collecting T206s because I collected them when I was 10 years old in New York City. So how I started collecting was when I was 10 or 11 years old, my father and I went to the store called Alex's MVP in New York City, and I ended up finding this really cool binder of T206s. And I had no idea what they were. I asked the person that worked there, what is this? And he's like, they're cards from over 100 years ago, and they were in, cigarette packs, and I'm just shocked that they're still even, intact. So I ended up buying maybe I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago when I was 10. And then all of a sudden, I went in one day and the whole binder was missing. So essentially, one person ended up buying the whole thing. And being 10 or 11, I didn't know where else to find these. So I essentially gave up on them. I started buying modern cards. And then after that, I ended up stopped collecting altogether because I got into actually playing baseball. Then I went to high school, then I went to college, and then I got married. And then 20 years later, I'm 30 today, I ended up getting back into it because I saw a picture on my phone of the card that I used to have when I was 10, but I sold it 5 years ago, and I regretted it ever since. So this is the card that I sold, not the specific card, but I bought another one. Christy Matheson PSA 3, it's a portrait. So I had a 1, and my 1 was actually really nice. I'll put up a picture of it. And I really regretted selling that because I sold it for $450, so it wasn't even like a large amount of money. It was 5 years ago, so that was fair market back then. But I really regretted it, and I wanted to get it back. And then I went to some shows in Long Island. I ended up finding that specific card in Long Island show, and I traded 4 cards for that 1 card. Then I also bought an SGC2 white cap, which is really cool, which I'll show you guys a little bit later. But I ended up buying those 2 Christy Mathersons, and I kind of got back into it from there. So I ended up joining groups like Net54 Baseball, some Facebook groups. I ended up just looking on eBay every single day. And at this point, it's kind of an addiction. So that's really my story. I ended up collecting when I was 10, stopped for 20 years, and I got back into it when I was 30 years old. Unfortunately, prices have increased a lot, but what can you do? So my whole goal is to really focus on Hall of Famers. I'm not going to complete the whole set. Number one, it's impossible, but it's like 500 cards, so that's just not doable at this point. But I'm going to be collecting a lot of Hall of Famers, and I'll be updating you guys on what I'm getting, and I'll be actually diving deep into specific players and their history and their specific cards. So that's really the story, guys. I mean, this whole channel is about just growing a community. I really want to learn more about these cards, and I'll tell you some interesting things about that Christie that I just bought, the portrait, and what I didn't know about it, what I learned later on. And it kind of annoys me, and you'll see why, but that's the story about this, guys. You're going to make mistakes, especially with these older cards. If you don't know everything, especially at a card show, when you're just not fully informed, you're going to make some mistakes, and I'll tell you guys a little bit later on about that. So now I'm going to show you these 2 cards close up. Okay, so here are both of the copies of the Christie cards. So right here, as you can see, this is the white cap version. It's SGC2. And if you look at it really closely, it's a really nice condition card. No creases on this card. And look at that back. It's a really nice 350 Piedmont. So the only issue with this card is the bottom. As you can see right over here, right under his name, it's kind of like there's like some paper loss, and that's what made this really drop down to a SGC2. Other than that, it's a really nice copy, and I got this from the dealer in Long Island. This one as well, from the same person. This is the portrait, PSA 3. As you can see, this is the main issue of the card, though, the registration. So years ago, in the 1900s, used to print it, used to press it, I believe. And what happened was on the right side of the card, you can see a little shadow, and the registration on this card is not perfect. So you see the little shadow. Let me get closer. You can see it. And I don't know, that kind of bothers me a little bit. I don't know why. But other than that, it's a really nice copy. If you look at the back, it's even cleaner than this back. Look at the difference. You can really see the difference in both cards. This back is I don't know, it's just cleaner overall. But the front is really nice. It's a 3, so of course it's going to be nicer. But I don't know, just that registration issue really bothers me. So from now on, whenever I go to a show, I'm always going to check out for the registration to make sure that it's clear. So you can see on this one, it has a really nice registration. No shadowy And by the way, just so you know, if there is a very large shadow, for instance, like let's say if this body, right, if his body was like a shadow over here, like a whole body of him, then it'd actually be worth more money. So this little registration issue, this little tiny shadow, actually doesn't add value. In essence, it could actually lower the value because people rather it to be cleaner and have better registration. But if there was like a double figure in this card, it would be worth way more money. Now, not everything is about the money, but I just wanted you guys to know that. So these are two great examples of some Christie cards. This one, a lot of people offered me some money for this card. I rejected everyone's offer. Well, number one, I just got it. So I just can't see myself selling it yet. So this is a really nice example. Both of these cards from the same dealer. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.